Welcome to EDLD 5345. Each week in this course you will find an assignment overview. That overview video will go over what's expected for the week and give you an explanation of the assignment. This week we're going to be looking at policies, contracts, ethics, and documentation in human resources. This week's assignments are going to look a little different than they will in upcoming weeks. You have quite a bit of background reading that you will use throughout the course. You also have several quizzes to take in this first week. So let's get started and look at it. Just a reminder, as you do in every course, you've got 3 days to take your attendance quiz so you're not dropped from the course. These are your weekly objectives. These are your course learning objectives. Here are your textbooks. Just a reminder that if you're going to order the Texas Documentation Handbook, you will get a better price if you order from ed311.com. They're the publishers of the book, and they don't have it marked up. If you look on Amazon, you're going to see a big old price for that book. So be sure that you order from ED311. And again, we will be using all these books in the course. These are books on the 268 reading list that will help you as you prepare for both your certification test. You will have a to-do list in each week. It will look like this. I'm not going to read it, but that will kind of give you a checklist so you make sure you don't miss anything. Here are your readings. Like I said, you've got some background knowledge to read this week that you're going to use throughout the course. When it comes to the T-Test Appraiser Handbook and the T-Test Rubric, we want you just to be familiar with those items, kind of the language, kind of the process. You need to kind of know what the evaluation system looks like, how to pinpoint. There's the section in there on pinpointing a weak area by looking at your evidence and that rubric, how that language lines out in each one of those columns when you score it. You're also going to look at the Code of Ethics and the Administrative Code, which is something that all principals need to know. And then you have readings from Managing Human Capital Strategically and the Texas Documentation Handbook. You have 4 videos to watch. They're listed there: Why Document, Code of Ethics, Teacher Contracts, and Policy. You do have a discussion board this week. A reminder that your initial post is due on Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then you're going to respond to a minimum of 2 peers by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, you want that response to be something that is meaningful and has substance. So don't just put, "I like your post, I agree with you." Add to it with the readings or the video or maybe something you've seen on your campus or something you question to help grow each other. So again, your first response is due on Thursday, and then you're going to respond to 2 peers by Sunday. So for this one, you're going to provide a definition of human resources in the workplace context. You're going to give a brief explanation of the role of policy in management and leadership in human resources. And finally, you're going to discuss why effective management and leadership of campus resources is important, and how does this assist in developing and sustaining a culture of engagement, commitment to a shared vision. You've got several quizzes. You've got an HR quiz, a teacher contract quiz, and an ethics quiz. Each of those are 10 questions each, 1 point for each question. You get 2 attempts. The highest score will be put in the grade book. Once you start the quiz, you need to complete the quiz. It will time out, and that will take away one of your attempts. So be sure once you start it that you complete it. This is just a resource for you. So if you know where to find policy online, you may not need to watch this. If you have no idea or you're from out of state, this gives you several examples. Each district is a little different on where they have it located. So I kind of gave you some options. If your district does not have it online and you want to use one of these districts or another district that you know about in the state, you're free to do that. But this just gives you a little support in finding that policy online for the assignment. So here's your assignment. Here are the weekly objectives and course objectives that are required, that will be covered in this assignment. It is due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you'll click right here, download the assignment template, and let's break it down. You have several policy scenarios. This is scenario 1. You're going to read the scenario, and then it's going to ask you some questions. You're going to type or copy and paste from a Word document your answers here. So that's policy scenario number 1. Here's policy scenario number 2. And there's your question. Here's policy scenario 3. And you've got some questions related there. For this one, you're going to have a piece of documentation. So you're going to put a copy of the letter that must be sent to parents to notify them of the situation. So you can find that in the documentation handbook, or you can talk to your mentor about it. Number 4, policy number 4, you're going to read about it again. Put down here the answer, either copy and paste it, and that takes care of your policy scenarios for this week's assignment. The last part of the assignment is to create a couple of pieces of documentation. So you're going to choose from the scenarios. You can't choose scenario 3 because you already have a document there. So from 1, 2, or 4, you're going to create the appropriate piece of documentation that goes with the scenario. You're going to find examples in that Texas Documentation Handbook. Along with why you would choose certain items that's going to be in that reading. So you're going to find out what kind of item you would need to have as documentation for those certain situations in those scenarios. So you're going to decide which 2 pieces of documentation you're going to create. You're going to create them and copy them and paste them here. Be sure to look at the rubric. The rubric does tell you to get all the points you need to use the policy, so you need to identify it, and you need to use some of that language. You do not have to cite it in APA, but be sure you're using the language from the policy. So as found in policy, DBA, local, and give the number, and then give the language of it within the body of that letter or that documentation. So it's very clear as to what was violated or what needs to stop or what you're addressing. So again, you're going to choose from scenario 1, 2, or 4. You're going to choose 2 of those, create that documentation, use that language, copy and paste it here. If you just want to have those 2 documents, you can put that with the assignment template and put that in one submission. It does need to be in one submission. So be sure that you do that, and it never hurts to put down here, I am attaching the documents, so your IA knows to look for those instead of it being blank in case something happens with the attachment. So that kind of breaks down the assignment, your videos, the readings, and the discussion board. You will also have a survey of skills. It's a multiple question survey just for us to kind of assess your skill levels. We're going to look at you in this week, and then we'll look at you in week 5. So we can kind of, as we get ready to kind of tweak this course, we know kind of what we might need to add by looking at the averages of what y'all need. So we hope you have a great week. If you have any questions, contact your section professor or your IA. Remember, never email through Blackboard because that will not come to us. Email through your Lamar email account, and be sure and include your section professor and your IA and your section number. So have a great week, everyone.